It all started off with the youth group because the youth group actually was formed in Liverpool Christian Center only about
Going on 3 years.
going on 3 years. And when we started that, the first thing we did to bring the youths to the church was, instead of saying we had a youth meeting, was we said that we have small goal right in the courtyard. So the relationship built, and that was the main pull. We would have normal youth groups meetings, but then on certain days we'll just have, football sweats outside. And so we knew that the youths of Olera mainly were into football. Every day you could see them out on their courtyard.
That's true. That's very
playing on an evening.
Religiously.
Yeah.
no pun intended.
I'm sure they're there right now.
Yeah. And then it just, at the end of last year, Pastor Victor Jogi, he came to us and he was like, you know what, we need to have a outreach. And all he's seen, his exact words were, all I'm seeing is football mania. And through him, he's the one that actually put it together. And now we have the first official outreach to Olera as it pertains to sport.
Right.
Yes. And
Coming
we
up
say
on the
first because we intend to take it
Yes.
around.
But you also had something last year as well, but it was more in-house.
Yeah.
That was around Christmas time.
Yeah, it's called Christmas on the Hill, and it's where we invited the Olera Heights community and also Kane Street and environs to come to the church. We packed up all the chairs and we invited a whole bunch of other organizations and churches to come in and give free medical advice, free financial advice. We had games for the kids. So it's basically like a bazaar, you could call it.
Right.
And yeah, so that was in 2018. That was the first major outreach to Olera, you could say that.
Community.
And I just want to just know that the one thing about young people when it comes to church, they tend to see the church as the building. They tend to see the church as just the leadership.
Yeah.
But what we have to understand, and what is important when I'm seeing here, is that the church, we need to understand church is about the body of Christ, which is the people,
True.
right? And they need to know that there's a space for them.
Yes.
And you all created a space within Living Word for the youth called One Movement, which is this movement for young people. Just give us briefly a touch on One Movement and exactly what sparked that development and that drive.
I think it's interesting the words that you use. We created a space. That's actually one of the driving points, I would say, for the youth here at Living Word Christian Center. And we're known as the One Movement, but we're the youth arm of Living Word Christian Center. Is creating a safe space for young people, a space where they can come feel comfortable without fear of judgment, without feeling like, they need to look a certain way, speak a certain way. We could, in church culture, we could tend to get like that at times, we have...
Let me bash for say it.
Yeah, we're kind of uptight when it comes to certain things, right? And so I believe that kind of sometimes discourages people, not just young people, but people in general from coming to the church. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm so glad that this year we're starting off January. We hit it one time, we're going.
Pastor actually wanted to be the first week in January.
Yes, but we said, Pastor, we need to take a little time. Yeah, we need a little time. Yeah, I'm so glad that we actually, breaking out of that mold and we're actually going into the community and embracing them just as they are. And I think that's something that, we in the church as Christians, we need to pay attention to, embracing people just as they are. We speak it, we talk it a lot, say, hey, yeah, come as you are, but when they come as they are, then we go like, you don't do that. Yeah. And we don't understand, and that we need to be patient and understand also that, refining takes time, and it's a process.
And the restoration back onto God.
Yes.
The thing I think what you miss a lot of times is that, and I use this analogy a lot because it's fitting, the church is the place I would say that has the most fertile soil.
Right.
Yes.
For anything to grow, for anyone to grow.
Yes.
And if we really take our time and plant these individuals here and really sow into their lives and water these seeds, that they will grow and they will be rooted in the Word of God. The problem is that the world provides a soil that is seemingly, good soil for growth, but then it ends up being very toxic. As young people yourselves, in listening to the youth, and when because I would be here something and I was still having your meetings, but I haven't had a chance to sit in any of them, but they come with a lot of baggage sometimes.
Yes,
yeah, they do.
And they come with issues that sometimes they believe the church cannot address.
Yeah.
What are some of the concerns they would have heard from young people that, they will come with a reservation? Listen, this was my thought about the church, or my thoughts about the church. What have you all heard, and what advice would you all give to churches? And again, this is not bashing anyone, but it's something we have to face. When they come and say, listen, you know what? This is what I thought about church, and I really wasn't looking to come X, Y, Z. What have you heard, and how have you all tried to reverse that as a church, as Living Wood?
Since we've been meeting these youths and building relationships, the kind of stories that they come with, it really shocks you, because you're talking about our age group on a Friday night is around 13 to 15. We have a few 18, but the 70 to 80% are really 13 to 16-year-olds.
Yes.
And you would think a 13 to 16-year-old would not have to deal with certain issues that they are. Yeah. And when you hear the kind of issues that they come with their families, that's one thing. Relationships. A lot of them come with problems with father-son, father-daughter, mother-daughter relationships that need building and rebuilding, I should say. And it was a shock to us because we didn't expect it. And it's a learning curve for us as well, because we're dealing with things that we haven't dealt with before. But it was really shocking to see that. And I encourage every youth out there, you're maybe going through your own issue. But regardless of what issue it is, there's no issue that's bigger than our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that could actually bring you through. And that's all we try to do. We don't try to be a religious church where it's just, we come in and it's worship and just the word. No, it's about building relationship. It's about hearing what they are going through, what's their need. And that's all we really try to do here at Living Wood Christian Center.
And let me say this too, that one thing we need to stop doing is beating religion into the minds of people, but breathing relationship.
True.
And I think that is the problem, because if you understand how Christ walked, how he spoke, it was all about building relationships and breathing life into people who are feeling dead.
Yes.
I think sometimes many churches are more dead. I just call it a serious right? So that's why, as I said, the soil on the outside may look richer, and it may look well refined, and it may look nice, but when they start to grow, you'll realize there's some poison ivy in between. The sad thing is that people see the church as not fertile soil, and I'm really glad at what you all are doing here in Living Wood. Do not disregard small beginnings, as they say.
Definitely.
Because that is how it begins. And I'm really grateful for this event. We're going to come back from the break. We're going to touch more specifically on the five-a-side tournament. It's just about, that's about, what, a week away?
A few days.
Well, a few days.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days.
A few days.
This Sunday,
Is this Sunday? Yeah, sorry. It's this Sunday. This community all around